And welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. I am your host, Jim Masters, and we are live around the world. It is the evening here, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is 4 p.m. Pacific over on the West Coast. 1 a.m. we know in the Netherlands, where one of our faithful viewers, many of our faithful viewers are as well, and across Europe and in England, midnight. Avril Britain, one of our faithful in Hampshire, always lets us know. And it's the morning in Australia. Eileen Barker and her family and friends watching in Australia, wherever it is around the world, we welcome you to this entertainment lifestyle talk show series where it's all about positivity, great information, education, knowledge building, good times, levity. And as we say, light, love, levity, or in this case, loveity, is what happens here all the time. Whether we do just viewer interaction and have a host chat, or we do food or music, or talk about nostalgic things, or whatever it is, current events, or we have great guests like we have tonight. That's right. Keith Patchel is here on the show, and he is amazing in terms of being in the music industry as a phenomenal award-winning composer, producer. He's involved in so many phenomenal projects. We're going to sample some music with you. Dentist. We are going to, I told you it's levity, right? You got to laugh. The world is crazy everywhere else. You got to laugh. Maybe I'll do that every night. We're going to sample some stuff here on the show. Then I start sounding like Ed Sullivan a little bit, right? We have some wonderful music and phenomenal videos and music that are put together by Keith. They're going to be showing you, and it's very tough to explain. You really got to see it. Some of it is so breathtaking to hear and to see visually as well. You're going to love it. This is going to be a very interesting, inspiring, really cool episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Keith is renowned, beloved, and matter of fact, I'll tell you how it works in terms of everybody supporting everybody. My wonderful friend, June Aspa, who is a lyricist in New York City, referred Clara Francesca, the wonderful actress and performer that you had as my guest on the show. We had as my guest. She was brilliant. And if you want to see that episode, she originally comes from Melbourne, Australia, not Melbourne, Melbourne. And she was on the show. She's a brilliant actress and performer. Matter of fact, she and June are right now working on a musical together in rehearsals, and they're doing Zoom. And they'll be watching this. They're looking forward to watching this in the replay, in the archives on Jim Masters TV. You can see all the episodes, 13 weeks of our amazing entertainment lifestyle talk show series. So June told Clara about the show because June and I have been friends for years. Clara and I have become friends. Clara was a special guest. We had a phenomenal conversation. Clara Francesca, you can see the episode a couple of weeks back here on Jim Masters TV on YouTube. And then Clara told me about Keith, this brilliant composer and arranger producer. And so he's joining us here on the show as well. And we really appreciate that love and support. We also appreciate that love and support from everybody around the world who's been watching the shows and really sharing the episodes and sharing the links and having watch parties and all kinds of cool stuff. We love that. That is really amazing that you're doing that. And that's what helps the show grow. That's right. 13 weeks ago, we brought in the equipment, we built the home studio, and here we are live 13 weeks consecutively with shows every night, as opposed to doing a show once or twice a week, or maybe once a month, or only, maybe once a week. We do shows every single night. And sometimes we do extra shows because we do a pop-up show on Facebook and YouTube every once in a while, like a surprise pop-up show. If I have some time, I do that. We do lots of host and viewer interaction and surprises. We've done that twice already, once on a Saturday, once on a Sunday. And we've been doing that with promotions with YouTube on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We would love that. Thanks for all the great comments too, and all the support. You guys loved having Lisa London, the brilliant actress and singer, on last night. Wasn't she a hoot? Really funny. It was a great episode. You can see it. We just posted that episode as well. It was live, but we also reposted it on YouTube. And all of the incredible artists. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about relationships. That's right, with Rick Sotomayor. He's going to be here. He is a very, very respected relationship expert and coach and author and speaker. He's going to be here tomorrow night. So get your questions ready if you want to enhance your relationships. Could be with your partner, your spouse, could be with friends, family, coworkers, all kinds of relationships. That's going to be a real cool, life-affirming show tomorrow. And then, oh boy, we've got so many great guests coming up. On Friday, we have Scott Schwartz from The Toy with Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor. And he was also in A Christmas Story, that famous classic movie. Dreama Denver is going to be here on Saturday. She is the wife of Gilligan. Yes, Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island. He also played Dobie Gillis at Dobie. And she's a brilliant performer. She owns a radio station. And she is a children's book author. And she's all excited, and she's going to be on over the weekend as well. And that's going to be great. So continue to spread the word. Tell everybody about our show. We're here 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific every night on YouTube and Facebook, concurrently live. And we greet all of you as well. We do our toast when we welcome everybody. So we toast you and you and you and you in our fancy martini glass. However, tonight, we've got some nice, refreshing ginger ale. It's hot out, so some nice ginger ale to toast. Hope you guys got your glass. It tastes really good. I actually want more than just a sip, but we're here live. Hey, I also have something else that I know sparked a lot of interest over the weekend when I did a pop-up show, and even last night. And anybody want to reach in and have some of those chocolate M&Ms? Go ahead. We have some left over from last night if you'd like to have some. Everybody's been loving this, and we've been munching on these over the course of the day. I might make them one of our regular props too, because everybody seems to love the chocolate covered or chocolate inside peanut covered, chocolate covered M&Ms. They're really good. Your friend George Burns is here. George says hello to you as well. I tell you, my hair is really getting long, isn't it? Very, very long. Now you can really see how long it's really getting. George is here. His hair always stays the same for some reason. I don't know how that works. He must have a relationship with his barber, getting it cut probably daily. George is here. He greets you. He's one of our cast of characters here on the show. He's been here almost since day one. He popped on when we did a nostalgic week, and then the audience said, keep him on. And everybody loves Jeannie as well. And Jeannie is there. Jeannie greets you. She says hello. She's in that bottle there. She greets you. Again, everybody, we're looking for light, love, levity, and loveity here on the Jim Masters Show Live, and this is the place to have it. And here is Silver, who we got. He greets you. Silver is our canine here. Good boy. He sort of watches over everything here at our home studio. Got him on a TV shoot when we were in Switzerland, and he came home to America with us here. We broadcast this show every night from the United States of America for our international audience, from the greater New York City area along the coast between New York and Boston, a region that just survived a major tropical storm. We were so blessed that we didn't lose internet. We didn't lose power last night, but it came close with the internet. But a lot of people in the Northeast are still without power. There is a lot of damage in lots of areas. So, we're sending our prayers to all of those who suffered. We were lucky. We were blessed here. But a lot of people suffered a lot of damage, and places closed, and power still out, and crews coming from all around to try to restore power for a lot of people. And that's been difficult as well because of the COVID situations. So the crews have to operate in a different way than just, going right up and doing their thing. So prayers to everybody who might be out of power or struggling, or I don't even know if they would be hearing this now, but a lot of people watch the episodes also in the archives at Jim Masters TV, so you can watch them. Yes, I haven't forgotten the other cast of character. He's here. He was taking a little nap. There's Jimmy. And Jimmy says hello, childhood toy with his blue feet made of porcelain. He's here. He says hello. He always looks forward to greeting you guys. So I know Jennifer Barry says she's afraid of, one of our viewers is afraid of clowns, but Jimmy is a very happy clown. He's non-threatening. We don't have any threatening things here. We wouldn't allow any threatening things here at the show. So how is everybody? I hope you're doing well. In just a moment, Keith will be joining us. We're going to have a wonderful show and a wonderful episode and lots of great comments here already. I love this. This is what you really call loveity. This is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to talk to him about his former roommate. Hoping to get out of work on time Wednesday. Well, hopefully you are watching right now. Willie is here from the Netherlands. We always show her these Dutch tulips because it is 1:15 a.m. in Holland, and Willie either stays up all day so she doesn't miss our show, or she takes a nap purposefully so she can get up at 1 a.m. to watch our show. That is what we call dedication. Love you, Willie. Thanks for all the great comments. I get posts and text messages and Facebook private messages and posts on my pages all day long and on YouTube from so many viewers and guests who've been on the show, and I really appreciate it. And Christine says, hi, Jim and all the loveities watching on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Good to see you as well. Always a pleasure. Hello, Bud. You've been hanging out with Christopher Joseph. He usually goes, hello, Jimbo. Hello, Bud. Hello, ma'am. Merlin in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. Hope you're doing well. Linda Odell in Florida. You guys skirted that hurricane. You saved it for all of us here in the Northeast, I guess, and the Carolinas. Good evening, Mr. Loveity. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you here, Linda. Thanks for all of your wonderful comments and all the fantastic words, and everybody's saying hello to everybody. And Dante is here. Dante CD, Danilo on Facebook in San Diego. Hello to you as well. And thanks for being here at, as you've called it, Loveity Hall. Ernestine in North Carolina. Hi, Jim and friends. Hope everything is doing good tonight. Yes, everybody is doing well. And I'm glad you guys are okay there in North Carolina. That was a little rough there in North Carolina as well with the hurricane. Isaias. Everybody was having a field day with that name, right? Isaias. Hey, Jim. Hooray. Shlancha. Yes, you as well, Jennifer. And everybody's saying hello. Renee is watching in Iowa. Hey, Renee, good to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. And Avril is watching in United Kingdom and Hampshire. Hi, Jim. Hope you all had a good day. Yes, Jim, it's 12:06 a.m. Sending all the loveity out to you, Jim. Thank you very much, Avril. You got the hearts there and the stars and flowers. Love it, love it, love it. We love you, Avril, representing us there in England and in the United Kingdom and beautiful Hampshire. Thank you very much for being with us. We send you a loveity hello. And continue to tell all your friends and family there in Europe about our show. Thank you very much. We are safe from the storm. Absolutely, absolutely. No hat today. No, sometimes they change it off. Now you can see how long the hair is. Haven't had it cut since March. The last time I had it this long was probably about a year ago when I was on a TV shoot in Greece, Germany, Amsterdam. That was actually the year before. Last year, we were back in the Netherlands for another TV show. Reno. Hey, Reno. Actor, producer, casting director, lyricist, composer, and dear friend. And that's what I put at the top of that list. Good to see you, Reno. Looking forward to it. Have an amazing show. My pleasure. And I hope you guys made it through the storm as well. One heck of a storm, huh? It turned out to be a lot worse than most people thought. You know, when they hear downgrade to tropical storm, they're like, okay, coast is clear. Tropical storm could be just as bad off the coast of New Jersey, that 109-mile-an-hour clocked winds on Long Beach Island. Tough stuff. Oh my, did you just create a new word again? Yeah, I think so. I'm always doing that haphazardly. There's Christopher. Now let's see if Christopher makes it to the end of the show. We were teasing Christopher last night at the end of the show because we see Christopher usually in the beginning, but we don't see him towards the end. So let's see how long Christopher will last with us tonight. Good to see you in Ohio as well. And what is happening? That's a good question. In 2020, I don't think anybody has the answer to that. You're having coffee. Willie is cheering. Slancha, you're having Jameson. Wow. You know, hey, it's 2020, and with all the craziness going on, perfectly fine. No M&Ms. We know you can't have the sugar there in Holland. That must be tough with all that great Dutch chocolate that you have there in Holland. You can't have it, but I'm sure you have alternatives. Have some cheese instead, that wonderful Dutch cheese. Dirty martini. You didn't eat the green ones yet? No. I have had some of the green ones. The green ones are my favorite. We're talking about those peanut M&Ms. Don't tempt me with those M&Ms. Just reach in and grab them. And all great comments here. You guys like Silver. June is here stopping by. Keith is here. I told everybody, June, about the scenario. You referred Clara to me. Clara referred Keith to me. And this is a circle of loveity here. So good to see everybody. Good to see you, June, and have fun with the rehearsals with Clara tonight with the musical. Clara and I were chatting earlier. She was telling me about it. And thank you very much. Cheers to you, Jim. Yes, the hair is getting long, right? Keith is the composer, but I'm starting to look like the conductor, right? I did take violin in school, and we're doing guitar now. Thank you very much. Cheers to you and everybody and all these great comments. And yeah, it's you're talking about people that have passed away as a result of the storm. 6 people in the United States that I know of, not personally, have passed away because of the hurricane and the tropical storm. All your friends have no power, no water for those with wells. Yeah. And you're in Connecticut. Yeah. New England was hit hard. The Northeast, New York was hit hard. All the way up the coast. It was something else. Who needed this, right? With everything else going on in 2020. Christopher, light, levity, lovity, all lead to the Gym Masters strut. Wow, we're going to have to bring back the disco ball. And hi from all to you as well, June, and from New York City. And Jennifer, Jim, your hair looks great. My hair is a complete mess. Your hair is a mess? In that picture, it looks perfect. Thought I felt like a bird building a nest in my hair. LOL. That's it. You do what you can, right? Jim conducting his master's chorus on the Gym Masters train, as we call it, right? Hello, Heidi. Good to see you as well. Hope you survived the hurricane/tropical storm there in New Jersey. Tough stuff. Well, good to see everybody and everybody else that's going to be tuning in later. Those of you who might be watching this in the archives later. Some people binge watch all of our shows later on. You know, you can watch all the episodes later on. Feel free. They're all available there for you. But I want to welcome Keith to the show. He is absolutely extraordinary. And I also want to tell you a little bit about his amazing background. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of his tremendous work. He's, again, an award-winning and renowned composer, film composer, documentary producer, co-creator of the MarsBand at the beautiful Hayden Planetarium, which is at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. In 2016, he composed an opera entitled The Plain of Jars, for which he received the 2017 Acker Award from Composer Producer of the Year, which was performed again in July 2017 at New York University's Black Box Theater as part of the Impact Festival. In 2015, he composed the Pluto Symphony. You're going to see parts of that on this show tonight exclusively. Keith has generously shared some of this video and musical material with us, and you are going to see it exclusively here on the Jim Masters Show Live. He composed the Pluto Symphony for the Hayden Planetarium, which is an official selection for the nomination for the Pulitzer Prize in Music. Did you hear that? I want to make sure that there was no like Wi-Fi dropouts. Pulitzer Prize, that's correct. Pulitzer Prize in Music in 2015. He is also the composer in residence at the MusEdLab at NYU Music Education Software Development Initiative. And there's a wonderful thing we're going to be telling you and showing you in reference to that as well. And in 2014, he composed a score and performed with Barbara Vann, a founding member of the Open Theater, for Don Juan in Hell at the Medicine Show Theater. Keith's other recent credits include score and sound design for Chekov's Uncle Vanya at Columbia University and the Medicine Show Theater. Composer for Mr. E's humongous underground digital vaudeville extravaganza about Edward Snowden. Composer for the Emmy-nominated HBO documentary Finishing Heaven, 2010, as well as having won Best Composer Award for the film Crumble at Manhattan Film Festival in 2011 and the New York International Film Festival 2010. He trained at Juilliard with an MA in composition from City University of New York, Queens, the Mann School of Music, and has a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts Music, magna cum laude, SUNY Buffalo. He's also a veteran of the New York City rock punk scene, and highlights include Richard Lloyd's Field of Fire album. And he lives in New York City, and again, he has written that experimental chamber opera entitled The Plain of Jars, which has been performed in those two different productions in New York. Really incredible. You're going to love having him on the show, and we are so honored to have him here as well. That's just the short list of some of his extraordinary accomplishments. Let's welcome him together with a big loveity welcome. Keith, welcome to the show. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thanks, Jim. It's great to be here, and thank you. I just love music and being involved in music and writing music and, interacting with people. So I'm lucky in a lot of ways. I get to do what I love to do. So
you are, absolutely, and we thank you for that, because music is very healing, and really, especially now, with the times we're living in, we need music and the arts more than ever, right?
Absolutely, and this whole, it's like a new technological phenomena of, distance learning and distance entertainment, using Zoom. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, this is just so, it was unimaginable, like what we're all living through right now. And, we adapt because, we have to. So, but it's bringing out new types of communication and art forms. And I think in a certain way, creativity, you really have to do something now, so to speak.
Exactly. What have you been doing during all of this to keep everything flowing and the creativity going and those creative juices flowing, during all of this, as people have been sort of still hunkered down and a lot of venues aren't open and studios aren't open and places to go? What have you been doing, Keith? Have you been writing and producing a lot of music and material?
Yeah, I've been writing a lot of music, and I've been working very hard. I have a startup company going. I've developing music education software for children. It's really fascinating. It's a lot of work, but it's really going forward, and things look really good right now. I'm talking to some awesome people, and I've been painting a lot. I also just for the love of it, I paint these strange sort of like abstract paintings, and I've been doing a lot of them. So that's kind of it. Reading some books, great books, seeing a few friends, but I've been playing it really. I'm very lucky. I've been playing it safe. I live in the Lower East Side in Manhattan. I know 5 people who've passed away from COVID, so it's no joke. Elderly people who are at risk. And so I'm doing the social distancing thing, trying to respect that. And it's it's difficult because you want to be out running around and having fun, but it's now's not the time, so to speak. So, but anyway, so I'm it's great to be on the show, and you always meet people and talk about things, and and things always happen that you never expected would happen. You meet someone who knows someone, and then boom, a new door opens up, so to speak.
Is that not amazing how all of that happens? And it's a beautiful thing when worlds collide for the right reasons and people are brought together for the right reasons, because then you plug into each other's energy and boom, what you create and what you share is extraordinary. And you get to do that, as a composer, you get to do that with so many brilliant performers and musicians and others. I mean, they respond to what you create. And when you get that and you hear it back, and it must really make you feel incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's that really sort of strange combination where you do something for the love of doing it, just because just the pure sort of act of spending time sitting at the piano or the guitar or using software to you create these sort of sonic objects, and then other people respond to them, and you can connect and communicate and um, produce things, or just I think it's a very important time to be as creative as possible, to tell you the truth. That things are just so upside down right now that it's worth the effort, and I think it's important for all of us as individuals to to really
Yeah.
work hard and do a lot of stuff, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's go back in time a little bit so people can really learn about you. And I really like to. People know me through this show, but my work professionally on television, and radio. I like to really to get the essence of a person and have people, including myself, but especially the viewers who are taking the time to watch us live or in the archives, to get the essence of why somebody does what they do, what motivates them, what inspires them, what are some of those early little inklings in your life, Keith, that brought you to music, brought you to the blessing of creation and wanting to create art in the way that you do. Was this something that you were exposed to early on in your life with your own family? Tell us about those early years for you that sort of spurred on this brilliant career.
Sure. Well, I've always loved music ever since I've been really little. My mother played the piano very well, and some of my favorite memories of childhood were like sitting listening to her play. I mean, she was a fairly accomplished intermediate pianist, and could play Debussy and Schumann and Dvorak and Beethoven, and it was I was really loved doing that. And then I fell in love with the guitar really young, and like rock music and what was on the radio and the stuff on TV, and I wanted to do all that, so I just started playing guitar. But actually my first instrument was drums. I played drums for a short while in school, when they ask you to pick an instrument, and I just thought, oh, drums, so I did that for a while. So I have always had a very keen fascination with rhythm, and so that's sort of a language skill that's critical. Yeah, so I just kept playing music, and then like in high school I was like started playing in bands, and like kind of folk rock stuff. And then um I went to I won a Regents scholarship when I was 17, and I elected to go to SUNY Albany and study physics. um why? To get a job or something, I didn't know. But I
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
yeah.
But I bet in certain ways, because music has a mathematical element to it, it probably helps you a little bit, maybe
Yeah,
calling upon it.
yeah, it's helped me a lot. I've always been very, very interested in science, and now that's sort of all coming full circle in my life. With developing software, education software, and the looking at a lot of different things about. And I've always been fascinated by technology too. So I've been on and with computers since like the 70s and 80s. So I've always been familiar and or fairly comfortable with that. and making like electronic music. And I've been blessed by so just a quick wind up. So I had a misdiagnosed my appendix ruptured on the second day of classes. It was misdiagnosed, and I almost died.
Mm.
It was really heavy, and I was really knocked out of school. And so I just really had the thing like, what do you really want to do? And I like, honestly, what I really want to do is study music. So I'd been playing classical guitar, nylon string guitar, and I auditioned for the Cleveland Quartet at SUNY Buffalo, and they accepted me. And so I went there to just study all this stuff. And what was extraordinary was the creative associates were there at that point in time. John Cage was there, Morton Feldman, Xenakis, Lucas Foss. I mean, these, Lejar and Hiller, just extraordinary historic people. And I got to know them all and just go to their concerts and their classes and their master classes. And I studied electronic music with Lejar and Hiller. The Moog synthesizer business was built about 10 miles from where I grew up.
And that's the way to say it, right? Because a lot of people would say Moog, but it's really Moog, right?
Moog, yeah. So they developed musical instruments, but they also had a technology business as well. But like the first Moog synthesizers, were all made like about 10 miles from where I grew up. And, I'd met Bob Moog, and it was really exciting and interesting. And like, we had this, the 901B series, Moog synthesizer. Those were those huge racks where you had to plug wires in because everything was voltage controlled. There was no implementation of digital technology yet. But, so we had that, and Hiller also had one of the first, I think it was a UDP, a computer. So they're doing like computer music. Lejar and Hiller wrote the first piece of computer music ever, like generated. He was a chemist from Princeton, but he went Champaign, University of Illinois, and he started figuring out how to get the computer to talk and make music. And so
who was one of my favorite composer, arrangers, conductors from the time period of, I would say probably, I don't know if he went back to the 50s, maybe, but definitely 60s, 70s were prolific, did a lot of TV theme songs as well, and really incorporated the Moog synthesizer into his work with the orchestral backing as well, was Hugo Montenegro. And even came up with the I Dream of Jeannie theme, a really cool synthesized version. I mean, really amazing. And if people aren't sure what we're talking about with this,
Barbara Vann was my first love.
Would you like to tell her? She's inside the bottle.
Jeannie, you were my first love.
I think she was for a lot of people. Good choice. For people watching saying, what is this Moog synthesizer? Think of the game show Match Game with Gene Rayburn. And when they would go to having to think of filling in whatever the blank was, you would always hear that musical accompaniment in the back. Wah, 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 the theme, that is all that Moog synthesizer. And that was when you start to also hear it used in television shows and themes, and really, really big. So you took to that sound, huh?
Yeah, it was just fascinating stuff. It was just like new ways of making sounds and combining them and making music. And so there was a very, very open spirit and a tremendous amount of experimentation. So I was just super, super lucky to be around these people and watch and observe and, actually get taught. Especially Lejar and Hiller was like an extraordinary influence on my life. First opportunity in the recording studio, he would just show us all this stuff and say, okay, now just I'm going to leave you now. Just create something.
So he gave you, he would give space and time and offer trust that something amazing was going to happen as a result. And there's some people, I would imagine, who work beautifully with that open air way. And then there's others who probably need the structure and they need maybe the hand holding and somebody always checking in. But you like to be able to just let me go, and believe me, I'm going to come up with something amazing, right?
Yeah, I would just go and start to experiment and say, wow, I really like that. And then you'd have to record that sound, because there was no, the thing that's extraordinary about computers right now, the tools for making music are phenomenal. And having digital recall where you can start to work on something and then, well, I'm going to go to sleep now and I want to think about this and re-listen to this tomorrow. In the good old days, you couldn't do that because like everything was like, voltage controlled, and you literally, atmospheric pressure over the course of an hour or two would change the way the circuits were interacting. So the sounds and the music would actually change, so that if you you created something, you really needed to record it on the spot. And then you were doing things like splicing tape together and all that, that awesome, like, ancient stuff that people look at you and just like, splice tape. Like, why would you do that? I mean, because that was the only, you had to record your ideas and then you had to sort of arrange them that way. And so I got the advantage and the blessing of like learning that stuff. It was a bit difficult, but I really took to it. So, I was playing guitar and making like electronic music and stuff. I recently found I found two pieces that I wrote in like 1979. Those are my first like my first like kind of legit like electroacoustic music compositions, and I was fortunate to find them. So then and then I moved to New York City, and I could play guitar really well, and I had auditioned for some bands, and I started playing with Richard Lloyd from television. Hello. And
We're setting up that Pluto Symphony for you, because we're gonna
Sure.
talk about that in just a minute. But before we do that, continue, because that's really amazing stuff that you're sharing with us. This journey that you've been on.
Yeah, I was just always curious, basically, and open-minded, and I was never like, you can only do one thing.
Right.
I was always interested in doing many things, or I was always curious in other people's process and how they thought about, what they created, and having the opportunity to meet them. And then I went to, I came to New York, I wanted to become a rock and roll star, basically. And I honestly, like, to keep my parents off my back, I enrolled in graduate school. And again, I had the super blessing. I studied composition with George Pearl.
Wow.
So if you guys don't know who George Pearl is, you should look him up. George Pearl and Milton Babbitt were the 20th century's two greatest music theorists and eminent composers, and they shared their knowledge, generously, in academia, and I met both of them and got a chance to really understand, why they did what they did and what they were thinking, and new future possibilities for these systems that they had developed. And I'm still sort of working my way through these things, and some of these ideas are sort of embedded in my current compositions.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You mentioned the love of science, and it's really fantastic how you've also, in many respects, in many opportunities with projects, especially with the involvement with the phenomenal. I love planetariums. As a kid, I always loved planetariums. I love going outside and looking up at the stars. I love telescopes. I love all of that. I love everything visual. To have this association with the Hayden Planetarium at the phenomenal American Museum of Natural History. How did that relationship develop for you, Keith?
It's really funny because Carter Emart Dr. Carter Emart is my neighbor, and I'd known him for many years, like in the neighborhood. And it was about 7 or 8 years ago. There was a coffee bar that we all used to hang out in, and he had his laptop computer there one day, and I sort of peeked over his shoulder, and I said, "Oh my God, like, what is that? That's amazing." And he goes, "Oh, that's my work." And I go, "Your work? Like, what do you do, Carter?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm the director of astrovisualization at the Hayden Planetarium." And I go, "No." I love the Hayden Planetarium, and you work there?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, I'm that's my job." And so we kept talking, and Carter had known of some of my music, and so he invited me up to. They were developing the open space software, and Carter and I used to go up there at nights, like sometimes at midnight, and just play and practice and improvise and experiment while he was like sort of compiling and working through these like data sets where that would then be projected inside of the dome itself. And so then we got this idea to start formalizing this a bit, and it turned into like playing some concerts and performances, and it's still an ongoing thing. We right now we've done some things on Zoom recently. I mean, the museum's closed, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
But we're still collaborating and doing stuff, and we'll I'm sure there'll be some kind of new iteration. And I'd like to and I've also met an extraordinary man. Here's a plug, all you guys out there, if you want to read two phenomenal books. This is Dr. Paul Sutter. Paul Sutter. He's an extraordinary astrophysicist, and he and I are doing some work together now. And but if you're looking for two amazing books about astronomy and astrophysics, look up Paul Sutter. And
what is that last one about? How to die in space? What is that?
He's Paul.
What an amazing topic. I mean, title.
Paul's a real wise guy, smart aleck, and all these people are saying oh, don't worry, if we blow up planet Earth, we'll just colonize Mars, and yeah, right. And so Paul's looking at all these notions of people think they're just going to get on a little spaceship, and this is what would actually happen to you if you got near a black hole. You'd be pulled into a string of atoms, and that's it. Good night, adios. I mean, all of these things, these huge supernovas and comets and things that are fascinating to look at from a distance.
Right.
If you got anywhere near these things, you'd be toast.
Absolutely.
So it's a real clear, accurate, a realistic approach at sort of where we are in terms of space travel and astronomical theoretical development, and how these things are growing. I mean, the amazing thing about the what's gone down at the Hayden Planetarium is this open space software is now allows people to visualize things that were just unimaginable 10 years ago, and so it's this huge science push forward, which is great. And again, I just kind of was lucky in the right place at the right time, and I was the first guy orchestrating it and doing live interactive music with it, and so it's something I will continue to do for the rest of my life. And it's growing, and other people want to do it, and it's like a genre.
Exactly.
That's growing, and it's
right.
It's really awesome.
I do have a very deep, right to the core question for you, Keith.
Sure.
And it's based on the picture that I showed earlier in the beginning, in the introduction. Have you been like me and not had a chance to get to the salon yet since
you'd like Paul Sutter. You're a wise guy.
I call it quick-witted.
Yeah, it's quick-witted. Yeah, my hair, it comes and goes. That
looks great. I mean, it's got the whole composer look.
Yeah, I just got that sort of madman look.
Multi-disciplinary creator. There's a question here that we're going to show this. I know their question is, what does the music of the planetarium sound like? You're so curious. We actually have some pieces here, but that's Heidi's question. However, Linda in Florida asked, this is interesting, composers like yourself and Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, and the rest, Mike Oldfield, how difficult is it to compose, she says, internet music, but I guess electronic music versus using actual instruments. I know there's always two sides of the fence as far as how people feel. Some love the introduction of electronic music and some blend it in with orchestral, and some are purists and it's only actual instruments and real people. Tell us about the blend and how you've worked with it all.
Well, first of all, great question. I came up through the ranks. I've been fascinated by electronic music for a long time, but I'm also a very, very accomplished guitarist, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and I play the piano as well. So there are some days where I will not turn on the computer. I will literally sit here with a candle and no electricity. I call them no electricity days. And I will play the guitar like they did, 400 years ago. Or I'll play the piano with no. Well, I have to have electricity because I have an electric controller keyboard, but it's a real piano, like 88 key, like weighted keyboard controller. But I got it because it connects into the computer, so you can compose music into the computer as well. So to preface that even further, I sang a lot when I was a kid. Apparently I was very gifted. I sang in a lot of choirs and I did theater and stuff, but I loved singing in choirs. I started singing on stage when I was 5 years old, and I was always like in school choir or church choir, or then like singing songs and doing music. So I look at like the use of electricity and technology as just an add-on benefit. My real premise is that, and some people will disagree, is that, the music really starts from acoustic instruments, from old school ideas and properties. And I think it's very important to learn, learn some classical music, learn the music of the masters, and try and get it in your fingers and in your heart and in your mind, and really play this stuff.
Mm-hmm. What was it? So I read something lately. If youngsters listen to, is it 12 minutes of classical music a day, it actually increases their IQ points just by listening and paying attention?
There are all kinds of studies that are coming out now about cognition and development, that children who listen to music and who actually play music, they socialize better, their math skills are better, they have better interpersonal communication abilities. And that's the sort of the bind that we're in right now. There's so much technology available, and it's sort of the ad tech people, it's so predatory. I mean, just like, this sort of mindless, like, wasting of time, like hours and hours, violent video games, and where you could be playing the piano instead, you could be playing the guitar instead, you could be making music with your friends instead. And that's part of the software initiative that I'm involved in right now. There's really an agenda to map kids away from playing violent video games and to get away from like hours and hours of mindless social media that you don't get anything out of it other than they're trying to sell you something or a lot of things.
And the depression and anxiety,
and
all, because we are living in a world. And now I work in media per se, and entertainment. So television, radio, information, stage, a lot of stuff coming in all the time. And even I have to shut all of it off, because my personality, I get my facts, my information, but my personality, which I've shared here on the show, requires me to work out in the garden or pick up the guitar, talk to family, loved ones, spend time, with friends, which you really can't do that right now, in person, but at least you can do it on the computer. You can do it on the phone. We live along the coast. So walk, swim, get into the ocean, be in touch with nature. I have to have that because I have to have that balance. Some people are very type A and have all the Bluetooths and everything. They're super wired and hooked in. I like to have that up to a point, and then I need to go over here and shut all that off, put the shades down, sit in your pajamas, watch I Love Lucy reruns, and eat chocolate M&Ms. Get away from the crush of the breaking news, all the information, the on, because I've always been of the ilk that in order to process all this information, all this technology, all of this, we can't live a life where it's just always next, 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 next. There has to be a pause so you can deduce what you just heard, so you can appreciate what you just saw, so you can smell the roses and taste the coffee. What is the point of all the rush if we don't get a chance to stop, pause, and enjoy the fruits of our labor, enjoy the beauty around us, enjoy each other, listen to each other? We're such in this press of got to be number one, got to be first, got to be next. And anything that's 5 minutes old is outdated, passé, no longer valid, not valuable. I've never been like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Some of that stuff was better. So you know what I'm saying? As far as we're in this rush of everything has to be forward without any appreciation of, wow, we just climbed the mountain right now. Why do we have to go back down? Can't we just stay up and look at the view before we head back down to the car?
Well, there's something, you hit on several important points. There's something about being patient that is culturally, societally, we're no longer patient like we used to be. And we really are like social beings and social animals, and we need to spend time. I mean, I try and describe it in a simple way of like, I think one needs to balance the analog and the digital world and find, a healthy balance. I know if I spend too much time in front of the computer, I just start to bug out. I gotta get away from it, because I'm a bit obsessive, so I'll stay working on something for hours and hours and hours, and then it's like, oh my God, Keith, you haven't eaten anything all day long, and it's no wonder you're bugging out. So again, to get back to that earlier question, I think learning how to play a musical instrument is the heart and soul of any kind of, if you really want to, make music or create music, or like, you'll have a very different take.
That sound we just heard, was that one of your latest creations?
Pardon?
That sound we heard, was that one of your latest creations?
No, it was a buddy of mine. There's a buddy of mine who works for Facebook who was calling me, who's like, oh, what's up, Keith?
Hey, so
Yeah.
we love Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, ish.
Right.
Ish. We love Facebook. Ish. Ish.
But if we're if we're in such a rush in life, it's always good to stop, pause, and breathe. The time that we're in right now is a time to breathe, reset. It's been forced upon us to breathe and reset and create, collaborate, take time to really cherish the things maybe that we've been forgetting about: each other, loved ones, nature, the environment. And we have been forced in this time of everything stopping and everything sort of on hold to do that. And I keep saying it constantly on these shows and everywhere else. I'm hoping this is a reset of sort that allows us to rise from the ashes, not going back to normal, but better, more.
We have to, Jim. We have.
Yeah, empathetic, kindness.
We have to.
I've had a couple people also say on the flip side, good luck with that. But I'm going to keep thinking that way because that's the way I think. I'm hoping for that. No,
I mean, the world economy, people are so robust, we're going to get through this because we have to. The great tragedy is how many people are, being sort of, dying or swept away, and people are not, the COVID spiking here, it's spiking there because of the politics involved. Like, oh, don't wear a mask, you don't need to, it's all a hoax, fake news, it's all a hoax. But it's not, it's a reality. So we have to adjust, and time and life and humanity is going to march on. It's just, the sad part is, we're going to lose some people during this period.
Yeah, absolutely. Really cool stuff we're having here. Linda says music is the life of everything that is beautiful, and beach and a book. Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go.
These points we just made know, many of us feel the last few months have helped us pause and do things we didn't put time in for before. Jennifer wants to know, she asks this of all of our of our guests, the mountains or the ocean? What speaks to you? She's Keith.
The ocean.
Me too, the ocean first. I love the mountains, but there's the rhythm of the ocean and just what is it about the ocean for you?
For me personally, the wave cycles and the sort of the permanent beauty of sunrise, sunset. You see this grander like life cycle, knowing that, you know, my life, I'm blessed. I get to live here for, you know, 80, 90, 100 years, or who knows. And so it just makes me realize and recognize that like every day is important, that we live sort of in the here and now. And, you know, I can't put off things for like 5 years, 10 years from now. If there's something that I really want to do or that's important, I really need to spend time with it right now, and to, you know, try not to live in fear. I mean, that's the hard part right now is, you know, people are very frightened and they're very, unsure of where things are going to go. So I combat that by just getting at the piano and writing music. And, you know, I just like, I boom, and it snaps me out of it.
Right.
You know, I'm not fearful after an hour or two of playing the piano.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's that simple. That's for myself, you know.
We're speaking with a renowned composer and producer, Keith Patchel, and he's absolutely amazing. And we want to share some of the material with you as well. It's 8 p.m. here Eastern. I'm your host, Jim Masters. We're live worldwide on the Jim Masters Show Live, entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Good to have everybody here on YouTube at Jim Masters TV and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. I want to show them Pluto Symphony. Tell us first about this and what was the premise, and just give us a little bit of a snippet, and then we can also come back and talk a little more about it as well. It's fascinating.
I was working with Carter at the Planetarium in 2015, and we started doing these MarsBand things. And one day Carter just kind of elbows me and says, you know, that big NASA Pluto flyby is about to happen, and poor little Pluto, you know, doesn't have her, you know, Pluto doesn't have her own symphony. Nudge, nudge, nudge. And I looked at him like, Carter, I know what you're driving at. So anyway, I just got inspired, and I wrote a 4-movement symphony to sort of commemorate it was July 15th, 2015, the NASA Pluto, the New Horizons spacecraft, where this mission that had been going on for about 9 years, the spacecraft flies by Pluto. All of the electronic gear and the cameras, and, you know, open up for a brief time, and they mapped Pluto and all those extraordinary new pictures of Pluto, which we now have. It came from that event. So this symphony was designed to dedicated to the 4 phases of this adventure. So please play it, and I can talk a little more about it specifically.
And this one is The Unknown Surface, and it was this back when they said they determined that Pluto was no longer a planet.
That had happened prior to, but, you know, subsequent to this mission, Pluto's regaining its status, and, you know, it's an exoplanet. It's a different type of planet. It's like the beginning of the Kuiper Belt, right, where there's like, you know, gazillions of objects further out in our solar system, which we're just beginning to map and understand and even become aware of, you know, smaller bits and pieces and fragments and all these amazing different combinations that are so I think Pluto's now being looked at as the boundary point where you're entering like a new phase of the solar system. So, you know, these people love to yak and argue, and, you know, my idea is better than your idea. But a lot of people, I think Alan Stern, you know, who's the director of the New Horizons mission, who I've met, who's an extraordinary man. I mean, he and, you know, many of us think, come on, Pluto is a planet, give me a break. Well, once you see the pictures, you know, you decide for yourself. It sure looks like a planet to me.
And here we go. This is going to be amazing. Pluto Symphony, The Unknown Surface, by composer and producer extraordinaire Keith Patchel, and here we go. Enjoy, everybody, and we'll be back. This is going to be something extraordinary here on the Jim Master Show Live, and we are honored that Keith is sharing this with us here on the program. We hope you thoroughly enjoy it, and I know you will. Turn up your volume. If the volume's low, just turn it up on your computers and your cell phones or TVs, wherever you're watching. Here we go. Pluto Symphony, The Unknown Surface. Absolutely amazing, amazing. You're getting wow and very cool and mesmerizing. And so
Thank
that
you.
so that was presented and seen and available where? Tell us again for the audience.
Well, I just put there's a link I just popped into the chat that I sent you, Jim.
Yeah,
That
we showed it during the presentation. I'm going to show it again. Here it is here. And
yeah.
we'll,
If anybody is interested, they can go and they can buy the track for a couple of bucks at the at Bandcamp, and I'd appreciate it. So if you like the music, that's where it is.
there it is, a little bit bigger there. Yeah, I mean, how long did it take you to compose that and then have it blended perfectly with the images of the space station and Pluto, and it's amazing.
Well, thank you again. Each move it was a 4 movement symphony. Each movement took about a month to compose. A lot of work, and I did it in my studio here in New York. Yeah, it's cinematic. I mean, the approach is that I've had a lot of experience scoring films, so the astrovisual music style that I've created is just sort of an extension of film composing in a certain way. But there's also I've designed it so that there's an improvisatory character as well. I can play layers on top of that while I'm performing it. It's almost like, imagine it's a concerto.
Hmm.
The soloist hasn't shown up yet,
Right.
and he may or he may not. And so when I'm performing this live, I'm actually playing additional layers on top of it, and I've created all of these sequences and segments which are flexible, so I can kind of like mix and match, like as we're traveling through space and time. It's very emotional, and it's very powerful.
Absolutely. I want to show some photos. So we have some more video and some other very, very cool things you guys are going to love and enjoy. And again, very special episode, as you know, here on the Jim Master Show Live, everybody. Every episode is something new, unique, exciting, different, and really cool. Light, levity, and love and loveity. You always learn something. We have a good time together. So it isn't, the same old, same old. I like to keep things fresh. And this is a really cool conversation we're having with Keith. You have been involved in some other phenomenal projects. I want to show people just some of the images, and then we'll go to some more of the incredible music and material. Tell us about the involvement with the Magic of Belle Isle.
The magic, excuse me?
Of Belle Isle.
That was. Yeah, I was hired to be Virginia Madsen's piano tutor for this film. There was a very pivotal scene where she's playing a Beethoven piano sonata for Morgan, and she wanted it to be as authentic as possible. So I showed her how to do it, and I trained her to do it, and it came off like super well.
Mm.
And in the meantime, I was on set. I met Rob Reiner. Morgan Friedman is amazing.
Yeah.
That man knows more show tunes than anybody. We would just sit out on the porch, while waiting for setup and stuff, and Morgan sang song after song after song. It was astounding how many songs he knew. So
Morgan Freeman's the best. I know. Yeah.
That was a great gig
to be a part of. How about this one too? Finishing Heaven. I mentioned that.
Yeah, Finishing
HBO.
Heaven. Yeah, that film was nominated for an Emmy Award, and I composed the music score for it. And I have a part. I'm actually in the film as well. So it was a ton of fun. That's Ruby Lynn Rayner. She was a actor off Broadway downtown. on 4th Street, Ellen Stewart Theater,
Sure.
the theater of the ridiculous. She had a boyfriend, Robert Feinberg, who was Martin Scorsese's protege. Scorsese used to teach at NYU Film School. And so Robert started making this film and he never finished it. Ruby found out about 10 years ago that the original footage still exists. So basically it's a crazy film about lost love and broken relationships, and she's trying to bully Robert into finishing the film.
Mm.
It's very, very entertaining, very, very interesting. There was a lot of cachet. There was a number of Andy Warhol like people in the film, like Undine, Hollywood Lawn, people like that. So it had a lot of historic, interesting cachet, and it was actually a very interesting film. That these young kids who were crazy never finished their film. So now they, 30 plus years later.
There's another one. Soldiers of the Shadows. Yeah.
This was another NYU film a director that I met, a guy named Manuel Esumo. He worked for Spanish News. He was in a reporter, and he was actually in Kosovo during like the thick of it, and he had a lot of footage that he captured. And so his film for NYU was sort of about SWAT teams and all this crazy stuff that goes down. And so I scored, I wrote the film score for this, and then I got invited. It was in the Tenerife Film Festival, so I went to the island of Tenerife, which was extraordinary. If you guys have never been there, check it out. It's one of the Canary Islands. It was like the main staging point for Spain, for the conquest of America with Cortez and all those guys. It's there's a lot of history, but it's an extraordinarily beautiful place off the coast of Morocco, basically.
There's another one. Is it Concert for Kate?
Yeah, that is a very interesting. The Concerto for Kate.
Yeah.
I met Kate at the NYU MusEdLab. She's a physicist, and they had this new technology called conductive ink. I actually made a piece where you can map conductive ink into clothing and use it for circuitry to control other like computers and like Bluetooth, anything that you can connect with via Bluetooth. So I made a Concerto for Kate to thank her.
Yeah, I want to show that. That's really, really interesting. We're going to show that right now, everybody. Take a look at this. And it's really cool what you did and the way you did it, Keith. And we'll talk about that when we come back. Here's Concerto for Kate, starring Keith.
Rolling. Hi, my name is Keith Patchel. I'm a composer here in New York. I recently met Dr. Kate Stone at the NYU Impact Festival, and we had this amazing discussion about Zen, about creativity, and about music. And so I wrote this Concerto for Kate using Kate's conductive ink circuit boards. And I'd just like to thanks in advance to Dr. Alex Ruthman, Deanna Castro, and Dr. Carter Emmard. So without any further ado, here is the Concerto for Kate.
Zen Truth 1, to have nothing. Zen Truth 2, to know nothing. Zen Truth 3, to be nothing. The drop of rain which hits the top of a mountain feels its way to the sea. Digital touch. Create yourself. create. Thank you, Kate. Digital touch. To be free to create. The drop of rain. Zen prophecy. To be free to be yourself. Thank you, Kate. Kate is great.
Thanks so much, Kate. This is a wonderful, amazing, infinite piece of technology. I was using a few excerpts from the Pluto Symphony, which I recently wrote for the Museum of Natural History here for the Pluto flyby, and some excerpts from the MarsBand that I'm doing with Dr. Carter Emmard. Do you want to say hi, Carter?
Sure. Here. And you have to hold it, so I stand. Hi, Kate. I'm Carter, and the other half of the MarsBand. So, what do you want me to say?
We look forward to meeting you.
We certainly I look forward to meeting you. So, anyway, that should happen pretty soon. Thanks.
That was very, very cool. So tell us again a little bit more about that, the contraption you had on and how you thought about all of that. That was amazing.
Thank you. That's it was sort of a prototype. It's a very sort of nascent technology. Those are like digital circuits that are tapped into a flexible panel. I just happened to use a 16 matrix, 4x4 matrix, and encoded different musical excerpts. By tapping them, I could trigger them. It was just like hitting a key on a sampler. But what's interesting about that, this technology, is it can be connected, excuse me, via Bluetooth, like to anything. So we're looking into ways to, control light shows and do things like that with it. So it's really super cool.
That is amazing. There's something else I want to share with our illustrious viewers around the world. The Plane of Jars. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know that one is really near and dear to your heart, Keith. Tell us about the origins of that and what that's about.
Wow. Well, the Plane of Jars, I mean, if you guys don't know, that was a very ugly, terrible thing. During the Vietnam War era, the United States government was conducting through the CIA a secret war in the country of Laos. And it's where all the carpet bombing took place. The pretext was that it was a initiative to curb the communist insurgency and to cut off the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But what it really was a proving ground for a whole new generation of American weapons. It was the birthplace of drone technology, computer-aided, satellite-targeted bombing, Agent Orange, cluster bombs, all of this hideous stuff. They had so much material and so much ordnance that they just kept dropping it and pounding, and they just, really pounded Laos back into the Stone Age. And, hundreds of thousands of people, innocent villagers, farmers, were just massacred. It was really a really dark, evil thing that took place. And it led to the carpet bombing of Cambodia, which entered the Khmer Rouge into the picture right after the U.S. withdrew from Vietnam. So it was a really super dark. So I wrote a story. I wrote an opera about it.
And it's been highly revered and recognized, huh?
Yeah, and I want to do it again. We made a film. Clara's in it. I had met Clara in a couple of other productions, but she was one of the principals in that film and did an amazing job. And so I'm looking to get it produced again. So
The Plane of Jars. How'd you come up with the title?
Well, that's what it's called. There's a plateau that's in northeastern Laos, and it's filled with these prehistoric. They're like urns.
Mm-hmm.
thousands and thousands of them. They haven't really determined exactly what they were for. There's a lot of speculation. They may have been burial urns. They may have been jars for fermentation and storage. But it's really extraordinary. They exist all over the place. So the Plain of Jars was sort of the epicenter of this, this hellacious like bombing and military campaign. There was a man, an American aid worker who was in the Capitol, and these thousands and thousands of terrified like villagers kept pouring in, going, talking about the Plain of Jars, the Plain of Jars, and nobody knew what they were talking about because there was no technology. This was top secret. And so he actually wrote a book about it. And he testified in front of Congress, and it was one of the things that was pivotal in terminating the Vietnam War, was when this was revealed that, they had gone completely outside of the government. And, it was just, the military and Richard Nixon and Johnson run amok, and same game we're playing these days.
And how you're able to capture the feeling and the essence of it all through music is extraordinary. And we're going to share that right now, the Plain of Jars. Enjoy, everybody. It's truly, absolutely amazing. And you're seeing it here exclusively. This is exclusive right now here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Enjoy, everybody. And we'll be back to discuss a little more. Hope you're enjoying this fascinating and really interesting conversation here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Don't forget to share this episode with all your friends. You can do that by going to Jim Masters TV on YouTube. And while you're there, subscribe to the channel. Here is the Plain of Jars by Keith Patchel. Here we go.
During this beautiful harvesting season, we watch as the boys and girls dance and sing in the rice paddies. There's a simple and happy times. The twilight is longest in the land of freedom. Mountains, meadows, forests and the plains mingle with the beautiful flowers, giving off a lovely perfume scent. Dreams along SUNY love. When doing anything, we would help each other as if we were all we always help each other to make our homes by cutting down trees, sowing the woods, and working together. These are the traditions that we were told to forget. These are the traditions that our ancestors have passed down to us. We always spend family and peace with God. We don't need money. We know everything we need. We know everything we need. The Great Spirit is good to us, and we are grateful. Speak to me with an open heart. Intention, goodness, kindness. These are not weaknesses, but our source of greatest strength. What is done in secret cannot be ignored. We do not need to keep secret from one another. We are grateful and our hearts are open. Our blood flows red with the wisdom of our ancestors. The most enjoyable pastimes are the ceremonies in our knuckle down. We honor our ancestors. They have taught us kindness and truth. Have no secret you keep from one another. Let us guard lost on Rowley. We have lived in peace for thousands of years. We have done nothing wrong. Why would anyone want to hurt us?
Gentlemen, I am so glad to see you. I'm so glad you were able to make the journey. Welcome to Camelot, city of dreams, mansions on the hill, the land of the free and the home of the brave. We are the luckiest people in the world to live in a democratic republic based on the sacred principles of equality and the rule of law.
He sits in my throne. His father stole it from me. Someday soon, it will be my own.
I too have had a vision, but I'll be the next to call this my home.
But he who makes the king can make the king. For the laws are like columns, strong enough to detain the weak, too weak to hold the strong. Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, please call me John, at least for today.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Please call him John, at least for today. Did you not hear what he had to say?
We are a beacon of hope for the rest of the world. We have to live by our sacred principles.
Principles means nothing to the communists. The communists intend to take over the world.
The dominoes will fall.
And the missiles in Cuba? Why did you fire them?
The king must be willing to make sacrifices.
I fired Alan Dulles because he lied to me about the Day of Pigs.
He was a great man and a true architect of the American Empire.
And the ladies loved him too.
He was very upset.
But he lied.
A great leader must be willing to use all the weapons in his arsenal of persuasion. Green cheese.
The Reds will stop it now. Eastern Europe, Asia, Africa.
And now here in the Americas. I've just seen a ghost and I cannot sleep.
You do not live in a world of dreams.
Sleep or wed to a dream.
We live in a world of facts and action.
The fact is, the dominoes are falling.
Well, I never felt so relieved ever since I decided to pull out of Vietnam.
We disagree with that decision, Mr. President, and believe it will lead to disastrous consequences.
More dominoes will assuredly fall. The red and the black.
I've always had deep reservations about the domino theory.
We are a nation guided by sacred principles.
Indeed, but we must live by these principles in the light of day and illuminate the world stage.
The world stage was built in secrecy.
But we are more than just mere actors on that stage. We are world leaders, spiritual beings, who must bring light into the world.
Never underestimate the power of darkness, for there would be no day without night.
They just brought me home on a plane from Dallas. I feel so free and light today.
Airplanes and aerospace are the key to the American global empire.
I envision America on the moon by the end of the next decade.
We must support and cultivate the aerospace industry as the path and the doorway
to the future. The blue machine. The blue machine. I dream of a peaceful exploration of space. I dream of a man walking on the moon. Dreams are important.
And dreams do come true.
We can assist you in realizing your dream to leave the planet. Well, that's very kind of you. What's today's date? November 23rd.
That was amazing. Just showing just a little sample of that. That was really incredible. That's very, very cool. And the way that you've captured it, I mean, some of the comments that we were getting, people were really mesmerized. And I think you really captured just in what we looked at there, a real true deep understanding of the essence of the events and the situation, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was really dark, and they were like, I don't know if you noticed, but you know, the last statement was, "What's the date?" November 23rd. It was the day John F. Kennedy is already dead. He's a ghost. He's addressing the three, main, architects of, the war: Johnson, Nixon, and Kissinger. So. Yeah. It's
was that tough to work on? Was it emotional? Were you emotionally invested in that work? Do you get emotionally invested in your work?
Sure. I mean, I was having like nightmares of like the people on the ground. I had one night, I had a terrible, shocking nightmare of these people, just sort of being buried alive under mud, and while they were being, bombed. It was really frightened me. And it's just a story I felt had to be told. Just nobody knows about this. It's really, really strange.
Right, absolutely.
Well, this has been kept under wraps.
Right, it's all been kept under wraps. There's something else I did want to show here too, which is another project, which is really, really cool. And I alluded to a little bit of it in the introduction, Keith. Plinkout. Tell us about that.
Plinkout is this music education software that I'm developing. It's soon to be released. I mean, we're deep involved in it. It's music education software for children, for any music lovers of any skill level or all ages. It uses sort of motion graphics and modular color to like reinforce like the deep core like musical examples, and it's sort of infinitely user definable as well. Why don't you just whip to it, and then I can talk about it for a second.
We will whip to it right now. I like that. Whip to it. Here we go.
To it.
There you go.
I think every kid deserves to learn music.
Hi everyone, my name is Keith Patchel. I've created this revolutionary new music education software called Plinkout. It uses color motion graphics and audio and looping patterns that help people learn the fundamentals of music, how to play instruments, and ultimately you're learning music theory and how to compose music while you're doing this.
I'm watching a colored piano. There's a pattern going on.
Synesthesia is something that's been on my mind for a while. It's this phenomenon that many people experience where they hear something and they can see little blips or flashes of color. What we've done is really organize it into a structured environment, so it's this combination that really reinforces the learning experience, and it's fun.
Music is fun.
Makes people happy. Playing music makes people happy.
I think it'll be great if that was in my school.
The reason I'm asking is because I want to put this software in front of 10 million school children for free. We want to have a free educational version.
I would be interested in reading music by color. I think I can learn music with colors now. Matching music with colors is really, really fun.
Plink out.
Look out! Plink out.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Whoa. Oh yeah.
That is beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. So what was the inspiration for that? I mean, that's one of those legacy, lifelong, impactful endeavors that you've undertaken, and a very beautiful thing to have created and take part in, Keith. What was the inspiration for wanting to do that? Is it I would imagine one of those reasons is because the arts and music are oftentimes one of the first things that are eliminated from schools and from education, unfortunately. So here you're bringing it back in such a colorful and vibrant way, because kids now are so visual these days.
Well, that's the intention. Yeah, there's the sort of the economic and the social aspect of, the first thing that gets cut is arts funding, arts education. And like, as we were discussing earlier, kids who play music and learn instruments they do better on tests, they socialize better, they get into college, it's all, the facts and the information are there. Music is an extraordinary tool for helping kids develop, and it's just, I wanted to share my sort of lifelong love of music, and it sort of combines my sort of music and science background, and so we're putting this together right now into a full-on startup and business package, and that's currently what I'm deeply involved in right now, these past few weeks and months. So we hope to roll it out before the end of the year, if not sooner. It's pretty close to being ready to go right now.
Getting a lot of great comments here. Christopher says, Plink out, very cool concept, using colors to learn piano is always so important for all musicians. Christine Clifton says, very interesting approach of learning music, as she was a kinder music instructor for many years. Jennifer Barry says, Plink out, brilliant idea. And then Heidi Chapman Bravo is asking, so how does it work?
There's a library of resources. You can just like pick an exercise and you can see it, and then you start to play along with it. The software is designed so that you actually play along with, and you'll see that visualized in the interface. So you look at the patterns and then you play along with them. It's just like having a music tutor there with you all the time, and it works with these algorithms that I've created, and it also plays MIDI so that it can basically, you can practice or learn any piece of music ever written. Classical music, I'm using a lot of classical music because that's what I believe in, and it's outside of, it's in the public domain.
Right.
There's all kinds of sticky issues with, like, I could use like other people's music, but I have to have permission for that first. So I'm beginning to ask some people, and I'm getting because you have to. I mean, this is like what we were talking about earlier with all the craziness around
whole new world,
copyright and YouTube and infringement, and and Don Henley's doing some really great stuff right now, getting in front of Congress and just trying to explain why. And, a lot of the YouTuber kids are like, making fun of him, like, but, they don't know, they don't understand what they're talking about. Like there's a lot of, the problem with infringement is that you can't use other people's music without their permission and without paying for it. But people go ahead and do it anyway.
Right.
And it's like, come and get me, copper. Catch me if you can.
But the algorithms now do. Yeah.
They're starting to. But, again, the big tech company could stop this in one day, but they don't want to because it would, their traffic would go down and their ad revenues would go down. So they're leaving it incumbent upon the musicians and the music producers to like track down the villains, so to speak.
Work.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Plink Out is really cool. Is it meant just for kids? I mean, I could see where adults can learn from this too, who have never maybe picked up an instrument in their life.
It's for anyone of all ages. I mean, I firmly believe that somebody can learn to play guitar at age 60 if they want. Music is a language. It's a skill. Yes, there's like technical things you have to know how to make your hands work certain ways, whether, depending on what instrument you're playing, right? But the fundamental language ideas are universal and they transfer from instrument to instrument. I mean, that's why people can play in bands together or orchestras can play together because the organizing musical principles are universal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. So think about that, folks. If you are thinking about taking up an instrument, it really could be for anybody of any age. So is that still in development? It's not available quite yet. And will it be commercially available or just for libraries, schools, and institutions?
There's going to be for both, actually. It's actually, the software is complete. I just haven't put it on the web yet because of
wait till you do. Wow.
Business, technical, financial. There's a lot of reasons. I'm working some deals right now with some people, but the software is basically complete and ready to go. So we're hoping to get through these next few stages because obviously it has to be a business. You've got to make some money, but I really do have an ethical position that I want there to be a free version for kids and people who can't afford it.
Right.
So, and I'm actually, butting heads with people because they think, hey man, this is all about making money, bro. And, so it's complex, but it will happen. It's very close.
See, look, you got a lot of people that are already saying, sign me up. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a very cool concept.
Jim, I'll come back to you in a couple of months when we do a launch and maybe you can, give me a promo and we can do like a Plink Out launch on the Jim Masters show. That would be great.
That would be cool, and see it actually, as it come to life. That would be awesome. That would be fantastic. And does it help with all kinds of instruments, or is it specific to keyboard or?
The ideas of music are universal. The physicality of each instrument is different. Right now, these interfaces are designed for piano, guitar, violin, viola, cello, banjo and ukulele, because that basically you're grabbing about half of the people in the world, or so, who've like had experience. There's literally like a billion instruments out there and people playing things all the time. So to be able to have an online like learning academy that you can go to, and what Plink Out is much more advanced than some of these other softwares that are out there right now, because maybe they'll show you how to play some standard guitar chords, but Plink Out will actually teach you how to compose music. You're getting into deep dish music theoretical ideas, starting with Bach and Mozart that actually go into 20th century music, and these different theoretical systems that I've integrated. And I'm sort of going to be the ongoing like online, professor guy, whatever. And I'm going to just keep offering lessons and show people how to, well, this is what I do. And if you want to understand how I wrote the Pluto Symphony, here are some of the ideas that, made the Pluto Symphony what it is. Oh, and to answer an earlier question, I created it on the piano, so there wasn't, I did it old school, like piano. Some of the notes I composed into the computer. Some of the stuff I write out by hand. Just the old-fashioned like staff paper with a pencil. So I use a combination approach, and it works for me. And I enjoy what I do.
Earlier you said billions, and the way you said it gave me visions of Carl Sagan. Billions and billions and billions of stars. I think you were intuitively bringing in Carl Sagan into the.
Well, thank you for making that connection. I mean, everybody loves music, and I mean, there's like and especially now with like distance learning and all these kids trapped at home, they got nothing to do except get on their cell phone and do this mindless stuff. And the thing is, like Instagram, everybody thinks it's important to have lots of like followers, but a year from now, it's not going to mean anything.
It's not what life's all about, really.
Yeah, and it's a fake reality.
It really is.
And basically, you're doing the marketing company's work for them
by giving them all your photos and your comments and your images and your videos and
all your content and all your network connections, and you're doing their job for them, and you get nothing in return.
You really? I know.
Well, I've got 1,000. I've got 10. I've got 100. I've got 200,000 Facebook followers. So what?
There was a cartoon in one of the Sunday papers, and it was really, really cool. It was done in black and white, and it was this husband and this wife, and they were at a funeral or a wake, and they're standing in front of a casket, and it looks like the lid is open, and they're looking at the person that's in the casket, who is a friend of theirs. And behind them are rows and rows of empty chairs with maybe one guy sitting in the back. And in this Sunday cartoon, the wife is saying to the husband, "Gee, Ralph, I would have thought there would have been a better turnout considering he had 2,000 Facebook friends." There was nothing but empty chairs and one guy in the back and them.
Exactly.
Said it all.
What I'm talking about.
So stay close to reality and your loved ones
and friendships and real people and real networks of people.
Have fun with the other stuff, but really know the things that are truly, truly important. Is it designed for drums?
Yeah, absolutely. There's ideas and patterns that are rhythmic stuff that, it's designed for both. Playing the piano is actually drumming. By the way.
Right.
You're drumming patterns, and they can be simple or they can be complex. But there's rhythm and then there's pitch.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There's one other I want to show while we're here. Capsara, tell us about that one.
Can you?
I know you're thinking in your vault. You're like,
Capsara, I think is Carter's channel. If I remember.
Yeah. And there's one on there that is yours. Do you remember which one it is?
Yeah, there's I think it's a Pluto Symphony.
Is it that one there?
Yeah, I can't see. Unfortunately, Jim. All I can see is you and me.
I think it's Open Space, New Horizons. But I think that's very similar. That's probably similar to what we showed earlier with Pluto, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's another variation of like.
So that's a variation. So if they go to your page or they go to Capsara, they can see it there as well. What are some other things that you're working on right now in addition to Plink Out and some of the other things that you're creating right now?
I'm writing some more music, sort of orchestral music, and I'm gonna looking into. There's one or two artists I found here in New York, or I've found very interesting that I'm developing, and I've been painting a lot. I've been doing a lot of. If you in the Concerto for Kate video, that background was a painting, an original painting of mine.
Well, somebody asked if the material behind you is your work. There's material.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, some of it. Well, there's one painting that's not, but there's paintings of mine which are
Do
in.
you have anything close by you could show? Anything small or anything nearby you can show? A couple people were asking. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Absolutely. For those of you who are just joining us, our very special guest is a renowned and award-winning composer and producer and painter. So you learned something new. Keith Patchel. I am Jim Master, your host. This is really a fascinating episode of the Jim Master Show Live. Thanks for sticking with us. A little music, video, incredible conversation. And as we say, everything unique, different, and fascinating on this entertainment talk show lifestyle series. Let's take a look at the work painting of Keith. Here we go. Tell us about that. That's beautiful.
These are sort of they're abstractions, but they're based sort of on energy, and I'm looking at sort of the relationship between the self and the other. I read a lot of Carl Jung, and I'm very interested in archetypal psychology and form and creation. So this is a series of 6. And I'm generally painting in a series of at least 3 at a time. And I have some like larger ones.
Somebody asked her, do you paint with acrylics or oil paint?
I'm painting with acrylic right now because I don't have a studio. So I'm actually painting on the roof of my apartment building, like in the morning before it gets too hot. But I've got all kinds of stuff. I haven't taken a.
So if it gets too hot, it becomes soup.
Oh, it's impossible. So I'm looking at, like. Things of the sort. I've never painted representational art. I mean, I highly respect it and it's extraordinary, and I don't do pop art either. Mine's sort of like psychological, like I call it biomorphic abstraction. It's kind of like I'm looking at human psychology and the process of transformation, basically.
You mentioned really appreciating the architectural nuances, influences as well. And I find that fascinating because before I went into, and I've mentioned this on this show and elsewhere, before I went into television and radio and broadcasting, I studied architecture and design. So I understand, and it's probably why I'm in communications. I think all of this all ties together. So I understand, and I can see even the representations and the essences of that in what you just showed us. What is it about the fascination of architecture and the like that really speaks to you, Keith?
I mean, architecture is everything. Architecture is drawing, and music is nothing but pure architecture.
It's architecture, right?
Computer coding is nothing but pure architecture. Different languages, different symbolic languages, but you're basically putting networks of ideas together, and how do you make them coherent? How do you make them communicate? How do you make them interesting? How do you, prove your point, so to speak, or communicate with people, hold their attention, fascinate them, affect them emotionally and psychologically. It's all part of comes from drawing.
Heidi said you should incorporate your touch technology with your paintings. Have you thought of marrying that together?
Oh, Heidi, you're smart. I'm already doing that. Yeah,
I have smart viewers on this series.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm already doing that. Yeah, that's absolutely what's about.
This has been an educational, fascinating conversation, and how deserving of Keith receives so many accolades as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you do? And Heidi loves that you acknowledged and thank her. She gives you lots of hearts. What do you do? A lot of people that are visual, a lot of people that are thinkers, a lot of people that are thought leaders, a lot of people that understand the human condition and understand nature and psychology and art, visual, all of it. They feel the energy of the earth, the energy of people. How do you ever step away from it, step out of that constant awareness and understanding and hearing and seeing it 24/7 to where you're just like that?
I pass out from exhaustion and fall asleep. And then I wake up and do it all over again.
That's it. It's cut to the chase. That's it. There's no some big grand thing. It's just, you know what? My mind has to shut off and rest. And that's it. Right.
Sometimes I literally just pass out. I'm sitting there and I go like conk.
I've been doing that lately. After doing these shows, I'm on the couch doing work for the next day's show. And all of a sudden I wake up and it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, what the heck happened? I was actually looking at the television. I didn't look at the television and stretch out. I was actually looking at the television. I just went like,
yeah. You're reading a book or something, and then boom, you wake up. 5 hours later, all the lights are on. You're in your clothes. You're just like, oh my goodness.
And what's funny is that used to be our fathers and grandfather that did that. Remember?
Yeah, and it doesn't kill you. You know, it's not.
No, it's good. Heidi says, how about meditation?
I should meditate more, Heidi. I've been trying to do a little bit. Yeah, I'm reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead right now, just to think about things, and I'm have friends who care about me and say, Keith, you need to kind of slow down a little bit, and you should. Have you ever tried meditating? I do. I have done yoga, and I'm sort of moving back into that a bit. I've just been kind of like.
Are you somebody who, when you get a thought, maybe you're observing something on a train or whatever, you're seeing life before you, do you have to write it down and capture it? Do you sometimes wake up from a dream or wake up from a sound sleep with this incredible creativity, and then you got to go to the piano, go to the computer, go to the pen and paper and start jotting it down? Are you somebody who's always getting inspiration coming at you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very true and accurate description. Sometimes I get woken out of my sleep and I have to immediately go to the piano, turn on the computer, just like, and just like get it,
let it pour out.
Yeah, let it pour out, because the ideas and the inspiration, sometimes they're gone, and they're gone forever.
Right.
So I have a whole system and a methodology of sort of capturing, organizing my ideas, and then, I've become very good at editing myself. That's probably the hardest part of the process, and takes, I think, a lot of experience and emotional courage too. So you have to really learn how to edit yourself, because not every idea is the greatest one, but sometimes something that is more subtle can be very incredibly useful as a connector to something else. So I've got a system. I write things down on paper sometimes. I write lyrics. I write the music. I use the phone, take a voice memo. Sometimes I'll just sing the idea, or sing or talk the idea into the phone. Other times it's just directly piano, controller, keyboard, directly into software, and I'll start to line up the ideas and arrange and compose that ways. But it's almost always a sort of with the music itself, it's some kind of auditory idea which starts in my mind. Please.
Just hearing that, is there any way, since that's right there, you could play just a little of something live and for us while you're there?
Oh yeah, sure.
One of your own pieces? That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
special treat for all these wonderful viewers here from around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I could
sticking with us. Very nice. What was that?
That was sort of a flash of an idea, but it was actually sort of a segmented. It was one of the secondary themes in the Pluto Symphony that you just heard. So these things, it's like conversations and laughs we have with friends. You remember a joke and it just comes back. You're walking down the street, and you burst out laughing because one of your friends said or did something so stupid but so funny that you just like, what?
There's no way. Exactly. It's
not laugh. It's just crazy. You know,
creative minds better have a pad and paper nearby. My uncle is a composer of opera and anthems, and everyone has their own system. That's cool. They really, really do.
Yep.
Yes. And when you get those inspirations to laugh, sometimes it's really rough when that happens while you're at a funeral.
You got to go outside. You got to run outside.
Yeah. That's it. What would you say to a young mind, and do you get a chance, obviously right now, maybe not unless it's virtually, you get a chance to speak to those who are going into the musical field, speaking engagements, talks at schools, things of that nature as well? And do you enjoy doing that, sort of mentoring and inspiring the other generations that are considering going into these careers? Because it's not all just playing the instrument. There's a lot of hard work, study. There's a lot of rejection. Are you going to be touring? Are you going to be performing on stage? There's the business side of it. There's all these elements if you're going to really make this a full-time career that you love, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where, I mean, composers are notoriously secretive and stingy. And I didn't, and it's almost comical, but, you know, if you read like biographies and like the sort of the competitions and things that went on, but I've really decided to do it the other way, you know, like look at it in terms of like, I'm not trying to sound grandiose, but like service for humanity or like for people, like it's certainly something that I can offer. And I find that I'm a very, very good communicator, and I teach privately, but I'm getting all kinds of offers to do more public speaking and the like. And as Plinkout develops, I mean, that will be sort of my part of my role and my function to do that. So I think it's great that kids, you know, I really believe that, you know, some of the ideas that even like Stravinsky used, you could teach an 8 or 9-year-old if you're patient with them and can break it down into really simple, digestible components.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what Plinkout is attempting to do, and just share my knowledge. I've led a very crazy, blessed kind of life. I mean, the people that I've met and the opportunities that I've had, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm like, hey, you can do this too, you know, and it's awesome. I love going here, bands and like young people, and, you know, just they're excited about what they're doing, and there's, you know, so much like Pijink.
So you get inspired by that as well. So how'd you come up with the name Plinkout? I just thought of that.
Little kids plinking at the piano. I just saw like plink, plink, and I wanted to turn it into an action verb and create a unique name.
Sort of like rocking out, but they're plinking out.
Jam out or rock out or plink out, you know, like plink, plink, plink. Like two voice counterpoint, actually. Like this, the left hand does one, and the oops, where I'm on the screen over there. There we go.
There you go. Here, try it now. I'll make it full screen.
Yeah, I'm reverse engineered. Like, you know, you can plink out, you know. It's like rhythmic. So here's your idea about drumming. Yes, you know, kick, snare, hi-hat, you know. All of these things can be translated into ideas, like harmonic musical ideas on the piano, by the way.
Cool stuff. Yeah. Well, I tell you, Keith, this was absolutely inspirational and entertaining, but also eye-opening as well. And thanks for sharing all of this wisdom and knowledge and entertainment music with us. We absolutely love this.
Yeah. And one more plug. This is an amazing author who's emerging and is a friend of mine. And this is. Do
you think he'd like to come on the show as a guest? Maybe we can chat with him. Let him know.
Let's have a three-way phone conversation or something, and I'll connect you guys. And
it'd be cool to find out about this. Have an author on with great material like that.
Amazing science writer. He's going to be he's already got a Discovery Channel show, a digital Discovery.
Oh, he's got a show on Digital Discovery. That's fantastic.
That's great. Yeah, Paul would be a great guest for you.
Yeah. Let's get that underway. Absolutely. June told Clara. Clara tells Keith, and then Keith tells Paul. It's amazing. What an interesting and unique interview. Thanks again, Jim. Have a great night. Nice to meet you, Keith, as well. and love the concept and name Plink Out. That's Christine, Renee in Iowa. Thank you, Keith, and Jennifer. Thank you so much, Keith and Jim. Slancha, the Irish toast. Really wonderful words. Do you have your cup there? We usually do a guest toast. There we go. Instead of a plink out, we're going to do a clink out. There you go. Right?
Clink out.
That's a clink out. Keith, you're the best, and this was amazing. And I'm so happy that our dear mutual friend Clara, put this together. And big hugs to her. She's rehearsing that musical with June right now. But you're welcome back anytime, my friend. And can't wait to find out about Plink Out. I think that's something that you're going to get a lot of different age groups want something like that, because it'll help people, just visually sort of understand music theory and maybe take up an instrument as a result. It's beautiful work that you're doing, Keith, and you've done a brilliant career. And we thank you for sharing all this time with us here in this extended conversation on the broadcast. Feel free to tell other people about it, welcome them as guests. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you, Keith.
Yeah, it's great. You're a great interviewer. You listen really well. I like speaking in longer sentences and phrase. Like some people, so chop, chop, chop sound like, you know what I mean? They're trying to sound like cool and smart and like, because I see it all the time too. It's like, you have a gift of listening.
What was that?
Oh, you got me. Oh, touche. Boom. Oh man.
That's it. Right? Light, levity, and love. Loveity.
Oh, what?
That's it.
All right.
Keith, you're the best. Thanks for all of this extended time. We appreciate it. And again, that's a phenomenal material, and you really know how to touch into the human heart and soul and mind in such an incredible way. And thanks for sharing these little snippets with us here on the show. And you're welcome back anytime, my friend.
Thank you. And I'll be in touch, Jim.
That'll be terrific. You have a great night, okay? Be well. Stay safe.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Thanks for viewing in.
You got it. Keep creating. Take care.
Keep creating.
Keep creating. Bye-bye now. And clink out. You like that, right? Clink out. Cheers to Jim and Keith from Christine. And cheers. My mind is always running like Keith is. So I'm always listening. So when we did the clink, I don't know how it clink out just came, because we were just talking about plink out. So you're very welcome, everybody. This was really a unique and fascinating conversation, wasn't it? And one that required some time to really understand his message and his method, and really musical and just so engaged with what he does. And Kathleen watching, yes, you can watch it on YouTube as well. Danilo, thanks for sticking with us, Danilo, in San Diego, California as well. You can watch all the episodes, including this one again. You can share the link and all on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, as I mentioned, when we created this series 13 weeks ago, we would have something different and unique every single night. And boy, have we, huh? You can watch these, you can binge watch these episodes and learn and just be entertained and informed, educated, and hopefully lifted up too by these incredible conversations and the entertainment and all the fun things we do. You are very welcome. Thank you, Mr. Loveity. I've been deemed Mr. Loveity. I appreciate that. Danilo in San Diego. Don't forget what I always say here on the show. Oh, I want to remind you, I've got to show you tomorrow night's guest. It's all about relationships. Get ready, get your questions ready, because Rick Sotomayor is going to be here tomorrow. He is a renowned relationship coach, expert, author, and speaker. And he's going to be here for the evening with me, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. That is Wednesday, again, at the time of this live show. If you're watching this in the archive on YouTube, just search for this episode, Rick Sotomayor, and you'll find that. But for those who are watching live right now, he's with us tomorrow night. Again, we're going to learn how to improve our relationships. married or not, don't have to be. This is all kinds of relationships, friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, even the relationship with yourself. This is going to be a really cool episode of our talk show series, The Jim Masters Show Live. Something fresh, something exciting for everybody. And a couple more phenomenal guests that are going to be coming up here on the show. Got to let you know, Friday night, Scott Schwartz is going to be here. Scott, of course, was in The Toy with Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor, and also A Christmas Story, that classic movie that everybody loves. And also on Saturday night, Dreama Denver is going to be here. Dreama Denver, the wife of Bob Denver, who played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, and of course Dobie Gillis. But also Dreama is a wonderful author, performer. She just penned a fabulous children's book series. She's a radio station owner. She's incredible, and she is in really, really excited to have her on the show, and she's all excited as well. And we're so really happy to have Dreama Denver. And again, a couple of my television colleagues told me about her and told her about the show, and it's just fantastic. So tomorrow night, again, get your relationship questions ready. We're going to be talking about love, romance, and all kinds of great things with the relationship expert and coach, Rick Sotomayor. And we're looking forward to that. That's going to be tomorrow night. Okay, gang. Don't forget to relax, to breathe, to take care of one another, love one another, meditate, live your bliss, whatever it is that makes you smile. Make sure you do it every day and share it with the world as best as you can. And here comes the star. I might be the host and the producer and the star of the show, but I think you and you and you and you, I think you're all stars. I think every single one of you is a star. All right. So, gang, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Don't need these anymore. Whew, this hair's getting long. Right? Kind of cool. Thanks for joining us, gang. A pleasure to have you here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And these headphones really do a number on your hair, right? You didn't have to wear headphones today, did you? Maybe you did for work purposes. Good to have you here, gang. Always having a lot of fun, a lot of light levity, and great conversations. For everybody, again, on the East Coast who's cleaning up after the wrath of Isaias hurricane, the tropical storm. Hope everybody does well, and the lights are back on and the power's back on for everybody, and all the tree limbs and everything are repaired soon. Every day brings something different, especially this year. Love you all. You take care. Again, we still do have a few of these left if you want any. Dig in. We showed these earlier. I can't eat all these. Anybody want some peanut M&Ms? Look at that. I mean, with our studio upgrade, it's almost as if it's 3D. Somebody earlier said, I didn't eat the green ones. I love the green ones. All right, gang, we got to wrap up. 9:30 and change, huh? Good stuff. Having fun with all of you. Hope you enjoy these episodes. Continue to spread the word. And lots more coming your way. We've got some really cool shows happening. I love your hair. Cool. So awesome. Thank you very much. No headphones for you today. That's on the weekends with the church streams, right? Any news about the hats and t-shirts? We're still working on that. You mean loveity on the Jim Masters Show? We've got some cool ideas. We're talking to some folks. One of my friends, I just found out today, also wrote a jingle for our show. We've had a lot of people offer to want to write jingles for the show. So I'm going to be hearing that real soon, and I'll share that with you as it goes along. Really cool. Good night, Renee. And good night to, and thanks for being with us and all that you do, Renee. Kathleen as well, sending you love and light, Kathleen. You want the orange ones? Okay. We do have a couple of orange ones. Dig in, Renee. Where's your hand? I don't see it. There you go. Well, I'll eat an orange one for you. See, there you had an orange one. You can imagine that you had an orange one. This is funny. I'm eating M&Ms at 9:30 at night. talking to wonderful folks like you. We have a cool time on this show, don't we? We really do. Thanks, Jim. Stay safe. You too, Jennifer. Thanks for all your questions for the guests tonight. He loved seeing them. Be good to each other. Have a great night. You too as well, gang. This is awesome. We've got some good stuff coming up on the show. And just got a private message from Keith. He says, thanks so much, Jim. He really enjoyed it. He absolutely enjoyed the conversation. And being a guest on our show. That's what it's all about. Gang, we're going to fly out of here. Last comments coming in. We'll squeeze a couple in. A terrific show. Good night to all, including Mr. Loveity. Thank you very much. I toast all of you as well. Having a cool time with all of you every single night. And that's what life's all about. Your buddies say, George and Jeannie, and I see Keith really loved Barbara Eden, so he was able to say hello. I don't know if you saw it earlier. I showed the Jeannie bottle and tilted it because he said he always loved, as a kid, he loved Barbara Eden, had a crush on Barbara Eden. So I said, Barbara's in the Jeannie bottle. Say hello. And ciao. I'm glad you got that YouTube all figured out. So you're watching on the Jim Masters TV channel. Subscribe, everybody. Feel free to spread the word on that YouTube channel. You also eat M&Ms after midnight. How would you know that, Christine? How would you know that? That's from that that conversation that we had that went till like, 5 in the morning? We were chatting. Neither one of us could sleep. I think it was Saturday night, maybe. I like your nails. Thank you very much. You like my nails. I take care of them. They're clean. Take care of them. You have to. I'm on TV, so you got it, right? Night light color. Oh, do you want... Oh, you're talking about the M&Ms. That's true. That's true. They are. All right, gang, we're going to wrap up. It was a pleasure having all of you here. Love all these comments. Love looking at them. I try not to miss any of them. Beautiful stuff. Cool stuff. Another one slipping in here. So Merlin likes the nails. Jennifer likes the hair. And Linda likes the smile. Thing is, don't you like George's smile even more? George is cool. Good night, Gracie, right? All right, gang. Thanks for all the great comments. Yes, last Saturday, I'm back on YouTube. I use both. That's right. You're a two-fisted Jim Masters Show live viewer and watcher and lover. That's a double loveity. Somebody who watches on YouTube and Facebook and goes back and forth, a double loveity. Because we're going to be doing some pop-ups and some additional promotions with YouTube. So it'd be good for people to get familiarized with the YouTube channel so they don't miss anything we do. Some cool stuff we're going to be doing on YouTube as well. So make sure you check out the YouTube channel. And that's that. Remember the light behind you, night light color? Oh, I see what you're saying. Do you want me to do that? Okay, I'll do it. And then we got to wrap. I know what you're talking about. Here we go. She wants the night light color. She's putting in basically the studio lighting off and the night light color. So we'll wrap it that way. We did it over the weekend on a pop-up show. Here we go. I'll be back in a second. Is that what you wanted? You wanted that night light look? There you go, Jennifer. Are you happy now? You happy? There it is. There is the night light look for all of you. Really, really cool, right? All right. So there you go. Now it looks like, again, it looks like we're at a campfire. And I'm still looking for those s'mores. Does anybody have s'mores? That's right. We didn't have a power failure if you're just tuning in. We did this over the weekend. I wanted to show you the actual colors of the set, because you don't always get a chance to really see the deepness of the colors when the studio lighting is on, which we do need, of course, otherwise it would look too dark. But this is what the set actually looks like. You see the guitar over there, and you see the action studio picture over there. You see the saxophone player there, and the blue light and the pink lighting, and the graphics and all the candles, and the other lighting there, and studio lights up there, and me, your host here. So there you go. Maybe this is the first time you guys are seeing this if you weren't with us on our pop-up show over the weekend. Now you can see the real actual colors of our set. And sometimes those colors change if it's a holiday, like 4th of July, there was a lot of red, white, and blue. So Jennifer, you asked, your wish was my command, and there it is. It does create a different tone, right? We could have maybe used some of Keith's music with this colorful look of our set. Good night, Mr. Loveity. Good night, everybody. You too, Linda. Mr. Loveity is the package deal. Nails, hair, and what about teeth? Nails, hair, hopefully personality. What was the other thing? The nails, the hair? Oh, the smile. My dentist, my orthodontist says thank you. When I had braces as a kid, teenager, I had braces. Paid off, worthwhile investment for my parents. So cool, the lights in the back, right? Yes, do it for us. Yep, we did it. There it is. It's all for you guys. Not every host is going to do that, right? They wouldn't turn the lights off them. No, you got to look at them. But here, you got the beautiful set. All right, gang, we are going to wrap up. His hair is curling out and everything here. It's kind of cool. Got to say goodnight, okay? I look like I just came from the ocean and I'm sunburned and I'm at a campfire. I'm still waiting for somebody to pass me some s'mores. If you give me a s'more, I can give you some chocolate M&Ms. Sound like a good deal? You're the best, Jim. Thank you very much, Kathleen. So are you. Thank you, Linda. Oh, you did it in stereo. One without the D and one with the D. All right, gang. Love you all. Official goodbye here. All right. And cool stuff. Tomorrow, it's romance, love, relationships with the relationship expert and coach and author and speaker, Rick Sotomayor. He's going to be here tomorrow. So get your questions ready. We're going to have a good time tomorrow. Again, something different every night here on the Jim Masters Show Live. I just can't believe these shows go so long. If I'm ever bored, or whoever bored, we can just binge watch all these on YouTube and, fill 13 weeks of our time. I really appreciate you guys sticking around this long too. And let's welcome some more people. Just spread the word. Tell everybody how unique and different and fun this entertainment lifestyle talk show series is. It's still a work in progress. We're still tweaking it, still fine tuning it, still having fun. Definitely would have been nice for Keith's music, but I know it's time to go sign off. Oh, this here? Yeah, I know, right? Would have been cool. But he'll be back. Sounds like when Plink Out rolls out, he'll be back. Method to my mountain ocean. A little mountain, a little ocean. Like Donnie and Marie used to say. A little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, right? Good stuff, gang. Love you all. We are going to officially take off. Nice to see all of these great comments. Glad you love the color. Now you can actually see the colors of what the set looks like and everything. Kind of cool, kind of cool. All the best for our viewers around the world. Take care. Good night. Thanks for being with us. Once again, we thank our amazing guest, Keith Patchel. That's when he has the short hair. And we thank all of you here on the Jim Masters Show Live for being with us. You're a blessing and a joy and a lot of fun to be with. Spread the word, and we'll be here tomorrow night. And I certainly hope you are as well. It's always a pleasure. Be well, take care, have a good night, good day. If you're watching this, in the daytime, hope your day's going well. If you're watching it at night, have a great night. We'll be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live on the Jim Masters Show, live, YouTube, and Facebook. We survived a hurricane, and we're here. Good night, everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow night. I'll be here. Hope you are too. Be well and take care. Bye-bye.